Greetings and salutations, my operators, and welcome back to Fate Grand Order, Avalon the Fae. So, last time, what has happened? We are on Section 2. We have done nothing. We are with Tristan and Alteria, and we just got out of the village of criminal fairies who have lost their purpose. And turns out fairies eat humans? I think? Well, definitely, they murder us for enjoyment, but also their murder is their form of affection for some of them. So they just really love humans, but at the same time, you're gonna die, usually. And, yeah, that whole village basically self-destructed when they found out we were actually human, not fairy. Or not fae. And then, we met... I don't know if he introduced himself. I want to... We met Butterfly Man. And then we took a quick look at what's going on with Mash. Who is... getting kidnapped? By literal goblins, apparently. So, yeah, that doujin writes itself. So, let's get on to Section 2. Salisbury. I think the music might be too loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Okay, they did introduce Oberon. Beautiful, isn't it? This is the center of the British Lost Belt. See that super ominous castle-looking thing over there? That's Camelot. These days, Britain is divided into north and south regions, and Camelot sits between them. Most people live here, in the southern central area. The four main cities in this region are Salisbury, the great cathedral, Norwich, the nearest port town, Gloucester, the sea of fashion, and Oxford, the great dining hall. Each city is run by the head of a fairy clan. Sorry to interrupt, but what about our other two companions? Huh? I see. So there were others from Chaldea with you. I'm very sorry, but you were the only ones I managed to find. And as you can see, it's just me right now, so tracking you down was the best I could do. But that leads nicely to my next point. Can you tell me what this mash of yours looks like? As long as I know what she looks like, I can have Blanca look for her. Blanca? Who's that? Didn't you say you were alone? Oh, right. Here, let me introduce you. It's adorable. Pretty cute, right? I talk with her a lot. Guess you could call her my friend? Anyway, she's very neat, very smart, and above all, she's a hard worker. If anyone can track down Mash, she can. Okay, now that that's settled, how about we start by sharing what we all know with one another? You tell me your story, and I'll tell you mine. And you know the rest. I see. So you've conquered 5 lost spells thus far. And while you weren't originally planning to come to Britain, you, Mash, Leonardo, and Tristan wound up coming here to investigate this collapse. But then, after the 4 of you landed here, you got separated in the nameless woods. That's unfortunate. No. I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful. I had no idea you weren't the only lost one. The only one lost. If I'd been more attentive back then, maybe I could have tracked down Mash and Leonardo as well. But I was so excited about finding you that I forgot all about everything else. So then, you were the one I saw at the beach before I lost consciousness? For the time being, there's one thing we can and should check. Mash is your contracted servant, right? Then you should have magical energy connection with her. If it's still active, then we'll at least know she's alive. Even if we don't yet know where she is. How about it? Can you check on that for us? She's alive! What a relief. Great. Then all we have to do now is find her. And Leonardo's a servant too, right? Then I'm sure she's still alive and kicking too. Fortunately, the fairies here can't tell a difference between their fellow fae folk and servants. So as long as they're not human, they shouldn't be in too much danger. So let's just stay calm and trust them to handle themselves. Next. Altria. Altria, I guess? Is there something you'd like to say to me?
No, not right now. Anyway. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. I just heard about Cardia, proper human history, the Lost Belts, and so on. Although, getting back to servants? Heroic spirits? Is that like a human turning into a fairy after they die? And you said both you and Tristan are servants yourselves?
That's right. If you want to know more about heroic spirits and servants, I'm sure Bell Draco there will be happy to fill you in on the way. Between a resident of this Lost Belt like you and a master from proper human history who's a guest in this world, you two should be able to catch each other up on almost everything. On the way, you said. Does that mean you have a destination in mind, Oberon? I do indeed. When you're trying to track someone down, a big city's your best bet. Besides, you and Bale Draco both need to get used to the way things work here in Fairy Britain. So our next stop is Salisbury, the biggest city in the south. There, we'll find food, clothing, shelter, everything we need, really. It's just about a full day's walk from here. I know you've been up all night, but do you think you can make the trek? Of course. Good answer. You've definitely got spirit, but you're also tempering it with a healthy dose of cool-headedness. I like that.
Salisbury, huh? What should I do? It might be kind of dangerous to go back now. But I also can't leave Bell Draco to fend for himself. Plus, I don't care what this Oberon guy says. He really seems a lot like Merlin.
Don't know what accent it's living to.
Would it be okay if I came along too, Bell Draco? I know I mistakenly went by Mash's name for a while there. But I want to know more about you and, oh, right, proper human history.
Oh, sorry. I just assumed you'd be coming with us.
Right, of course not. Oh gosh, what am I saying? What am I even saying? Of course you wouldn't want a country bumpkin like me taking... Huh? You're shaking my hand again? Does that mean it's okay?
Of course! I'm glad to have you with us, Altria. Ah, yes. Now that's a lovely friendship. I was definitely on pins and needles back in Cornwall, but it seems not interfering was the right choice after all. In theatrical terms, I believe This is the part where we say, now that the actors are in place, the real story can begin. Chaldea alone won't be enough. The Child of Prophecy alone won't get there in time. So we need both to defeat the mighty Morgan. I wish I could do accents. A battle. And I think I get to choose my servants. Alright, I think we all know what this challenge run is gonna be. There.
Ah, the prophecy was true. That girl is our star of hope. She will be our salvation. She will be our path to forgiveness. She's our savior, who drifted to our shores with a ship full of treasure. She is the one who will hear the voice of paradise and chant the promised name. Ah, dear Altria. May you grow to the age of 16, healthy and strong. May the Queen's soldiers never find you. One day, you'll go on a journey to ring the 6 bells and save all of Britain. A journey to welcome our true king. Gloucester, Salisbury, Oxford, Norwich, Orkney. We may not know where the 6th bell is, but we are confident you'll find it. The staff of selection has chosen you. You are Fairy Britain's only hope. Now, go on, hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry and greet your 16th birthday. We have complete faith in you.
The village is done for. The executioner squads are here. Hold your head high. Grip your staff tight. Now is the time to begin your journey, Altria. Remember, no matter what anyone says, you are unquestionably the Child of Prophecy. You are the spitting image of her.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so weak. I'm sorry I can't live up to your expectations. I'll do my best. I promise. As much as I can.
Hey, I get it. There aren't many things cozier than a campfire.
Huh? Oh no, was I asleep? Just remember Tristan playing his harp and then...
Ah, how this saddens me. I was merely trying to soothe your exhaustion. But I cannot help but notice you don't seem to care for my music, my liege. I mean... Maid... Altria?
I'm sorry. I'm just not used to hearing music. But it really did help me fall asleep peacefully. I'd love it if you played again when it's bedtime.
Ouch. You wound me, Maid Altria. No bard wants to be told his music puts people to sleep. Hey, you can't blame her. We've been walking non-stop nearly all day. We're all exhausted. That's why we're camping out here tonight before making our way to Salisbury tomorrow morning. Altria, can you put up a bounded field to keep wild animals away, right? Oh. You can put up a bounded field to keep wild animals away, right? I hate to ask since I know you're sleepy, but would you mind?
Oh yes, of course. Okay, I'll be back soon.
Now then. I know we told Altria that proper human history is like a parallel world to Britain. But of course, that's not the whole truth, is it? The truth is, proper human history is the rightful historical timeline, and is fundamentally incompatible with this world of Fairy Britain. As Chaldea, you have to erase the Lost Bells to ensure humanity's future. And now you're trying to come up with a way to tell Altria this without hurting her too badly. I know it's wrong to hide that, but... I see. I suppose you have betrayed the people of 5 Lost Belts already. Damn. I usually pride myself on being an excellent conversationalist. But even I'm having trouble coming up with the right words to heal the wounds in your heart. So for now, the best I can do is to offer some words of consolation. It's okay, Baron Draco. This Lost Belt won't fall by your hand. Remember, it's falling apart on its own. If anything, I'd say you're doing it a favor. Really? Yes, indeed. Human history simply could not ever prosper in this version of Britain. It's a flawed world that was always destined for destruction. History took a dreadfully wrong turn here. The only problem is that it's threatening to take proper human history down with it when it all goes to pot. That's why guys like us from proper human history have to do whatever we can to save it. And that means defeating the one who's been ruling it from on high for 2,000 years, High Queen Morgan. Hold on. Did you say Morgan? As in, that Morgan? Yep, that Morgan. The same one who proved that to be King Arthur's ultimate Achilles heel in proper human history, even after he united all of Britain. The extraordinary witch who lured King Arthur into countless traps so she could take Camelot for herself. And the mother of Mordred, the treacherous knight, the child of King Arthur, who proved to be his downfall. She's the one who ultimately destroyed Britain, and here, she's Fairy Britain's ruler, and she will bring it all to ruin. Let's see. I think you Chaldeans would probably refer to her as this Lost Belt's king. King Arthur's arch enemy, here in this Lost Belt. Anyway, based on everything you've told me, it sounds like Morgan's behind the outside world's anomaly. So as long as you can defeat her, that should end the threat to proper human history. After that, you can just leave this place to its fate. Whether it falls apart or pulls itself back together, you won't need to feel bad about it. Look, over there. What was it a Lost Belt needs to survive again? A tree of emptiness? Well, I'm guessing that world tree, the giant ash over there beyond the sea, is it. And as you can see, it's been dead for a long time. So this Lost Belt definitely hasn't got long left. Was it ever on fire at any point? Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, it was. It went up in flames not too long ago, then died out just as quickly as it started. I wonder what that was all about. Anyway, I think it's enough talk for tonight. Don't want to overdo the info dump. Yo, Ferret! How you doing? It's been a long time. So, even if you don't remember anything else we talked about tonight, at least remember this. Defeat High Queen Morgan, ruler of Fairy Britain. Nice and simple, right? As for the rest, I'll tell you once we reach Salisbury. Once you see a Fey city for yourself, I think you'll have a much better handle on what life in Britain is like. Whoops, sorry to interrupt, but we've got monsters. Get ready to fight, Baron Draco.
I'm so sorry. I accidentally skipped a couple of steps when I was making the bounded field. And I ended up summoning a pack of wild birds by mistake. Could you help me out, please?
I never thought the day would come when my liege would beg me for help. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting she's not the King Arthur I knew. Oh, this is so embarrassing. even if she's not, I'm still glad to have her around. Me too. It's such an honor that it actually makes me feel sorry for the other knights of the Round Table. Here they come. Be careful, Baron Draco. Britain's beasts are not to be trifled with. Yeah, that shutdown. I mean, it was like a 50-50 for the X-Dive shutdown. With like how the Devil May Cry event didn't have a story attached to it, and like how half the events, the new events, didn't have story content either. It was like, I really hope that I could have survived like another year, maybe longer. But yeah, we all saw the writing on the wall. But yeah, it sucks, but that's the nature of mobile games. I'm super excited that I actually got like an offline version though. And from what it seems, it looks like a pretty good offline version as well. If the current state of X-Dive is to be believed. Because right now you can buy all the non-collab characters in the Elemental Metal shop for like 30 medals per memory. Like, I'm probably gonna still buy it when it comes out at like a last support to show that people still want to buy Mega Man stuff. Specifically X-era Mega Man stuff. I'm really hoping like it's not over $20. Because with like all the event stuff, the story, the massive amount of characters, I feel like that's like a fair bit. Like even if you're losing like the PvP stuff or like the online mode. But with the elevator along with all the events, the selection of the ability to select events and the ability to just play the story normally. I think it should have like a fair decent amount of content. Like, I know a lot of people just either want it to be free because X-Dive is already a free game with premium gadget elements. But yeah, I think Capcom's using it as like a measuring stick for like how much people actually do want Mega Man content. Because in all fairness, Capcom whores out Mega Man. When it was like starting, like there was a new game like every year. Like for all the Mega Man series. Like I think X got a new game every year. Battle Network definitely got a new game every year. I think Battle Network even got like a game like after 6 months. Like that's how much Capcom milks the Mega Man series when they're popular. So whenever they're not, whenever like it falls off, they kill it right away. Yeah. Like, I don't know what their profit margins are, or like what they expect for the profit margins. But it seems like really they want profits to be like huge for like the development costs. And I think that's why they kind of stopped with the main games, because it was A, already niche, B, they burnt it out. They milked it out so badly with like, and it was like very derivative on itself like every time. So like there's no like never like a real reason to like play the new games. Like outside of story content. And only one had like really solid story content. Were like the Zero games. Because that was like encapsulated properly. And then went to ZX and that was kind of okay. I mean, sure, the Battle Network games are very have a very solid story. But that was because they went the RPG route, which made them have to dedicate the story. But yeah.
Yay, we won! No, we trounced them! Man, that feels good.
Oh, this makes me happy. That was the first battle I've won handily since being summoned. See, and that's the thing. Like, the minor games don't appeal to, like, a wide enough audience to justify the development costs. Especially with, like, inflation, or, like, the cost of living going up. Well, the price of video games have weirdly stayed the same. Because, like, a game in, like, the 90s was, like, $60 to, like, $80, depending on, like, you know, the branding. And they're still, like, $60 to $80 now. That shouldn't be a thing. As much as I hate talking about, like, increase the prices. But, yeah, video games have, like, weirdly stayed in, like, one price set. Which is why freemium games are such a, like, massive hit for, like, companies. Because that was, like, the only way they can make a profit. Also, like, super easy to, like, make broken stuff constantly. But yeah, that's my opinion. I did get Koyan Sakya Assassin Tamamo. Vichy. Let's call her Vichy. I did get Vich. And it took a lot. It took a lot for me to get Vich. Holy moly. I did not get any 5 stars before I got her. It was not pretty. Hey, Altria. Are you actually pretty, competitive?
Oh, no, it's nothing, really. I'm just glad I was able to contribute. Ah.
I see. So you're already strong enough to handle a murder of night crows without much trouble, huh? Very nice. That's even better than I was expecting. Tristan, your bow may not be particularly strong, but its range is exceptional. You're clearly well suited for battles against large groups. With you on our side, I bet we could win, no matter how outnumbered we may be. And as for you, Altria, you're much more of a wild card than you look. Is that strange tool of yours handmade? A rare weapon like that that'll be very effective against an opponent who's never seen it before, especially as a distraction. And above all, your summons were fascinating, Baron Draco. Temporarily summoning heroic spirits to aid in battle. Huh. I had no idea it was such a flexible and powerful way to fight. Human magecraft doesn't tend to work very well against fairies, but summoning heroic spirits is definitely an exception. The only problem with it is how long it can last, given the incredible demands on your stamina, magical energy, and sheer luck. Plus, it seems like the longer the battle lasts, the more of a toll it takes on you. But, as long as you're careful about that, you should be able to handle anyone, fairy or not.
Wait a moment. Human magecraft? You can use magecraft, Baron Draco?
Just barely, thanks to my Mystic Code. But yep.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I was just a little taken aback. You see, magecraft isn't really used much in Britain. Basically, fairies perform sacraments without any help from basic magecraft, spells, or mystic codes. So magecraft is considered unnecessary at best and, only practiced by weirdos at worst. In fact, to be totally blunt, if you tell people you use magecraft here, they tend to look at you all funny and ask why'd you go to all the trouble. Ahahaha.
I see. You do have a point. Fairies simply have no need of magecraft. And since this Britain is a land dominated by fairies, that would mean magecraft is effectively worthless here. So, why do you use it then, Altria?
Oh man, after everything I just said, you really went there, Baron Draco.
Now. It was an honest question, Altria. You know he didn't mean anything by it, right? Anyway, you don't have to answer if you'd rather not. As for you, Baron Draco, I'd suggest you wait for a better time before bringing this up again. Anyway, I think we might have gotten distracted from our main purpose. Now that we've got this nice camp set up, we should use it to get a good night's rest. I'm sure there's more you'd like to know about Baron Draco, Altria, but why don't we save that for tomorrow? Fortunately, there's none of the Queen's soldiers, no Moors, and no rebel army around here. And once we wake up in the morning, it's only another hour's walk to Salisbury, where we'll be able to have a much more in-depth conversation. After all, if you're going to have a fun discussion, you should save it for a nice and relaxing place, right? Another all-story node. Man, this just keeps going, huh?
敵を攻撃した時やスキルなどで発生するスターは1つにつきクリティカルの確率を 10% 上げます。またスターが集まりやすいクラスと
Man, thank God it doesn't need me to start part 2 yet. But fair, I wish you luck in getting in getting Vichy. Although she does come back pretty often, I think. No, or is it Morgan who comes back often? And Vichy's rare. But I wish you luck in your polls. I'm rooting for you. I hope you get in your next poll. Alright, let's continue. And that's the gist of the world's history up until 2017.
Wow. So other worlds really do exist. England, Scotland, Ireland. And you said there are other countries beyond the Isle of Two? Like, France and Italy? I can't even imagine so many different countries, and cultures, and people. It sounds like you come from a really wonderful world. Britain without the fairies, huh? That sounds like a nice change of pace.
Well, from where Baron Draco is sitting, I imagine he finds the Britain full of fairies to be quite the change of pace. I do have to correct you on one thing, though. It's not that there aren't any fairies at all in proper human history, where Baron Draco comes from. While mystics have definitely faded since the AD era began, fairies are still around. Though, of course, there are far fewer of them, and they don't reveal themselves to humans much. Heck, I'm a fairy heroic spirit myself. Come to think of it, Oberon, aren't you from A Midsummer Night's Dream, right? Written by William Shakespeare, England's greatest playwright, it may well be one of the most famous stories about fairies. It's basically about a love, square between humans. But two of the most important characters are Oberon, the king of the fairies, and his queen, Titania. In the story, Oberon wants Titania to give him one of her pages. So he hatches a plan involving a potion that will cause the drinker to fall in love with the first living thing they see upon awakening. But two humans end up taking it by mistake, causing them to forget about the person they love, and mistakenly believe they are fated to be with someone else. Well, without going into too much detail, it all wraps up nicely in the end. It's a sort of comedy of errors focused on love and miscommunication you see everywhere. But, unfortunately for me, it became so popular that it kept being retold for generations. Thanks to that, the word fairy is now synonymous with mischievous Puck and narrow-minded King Oberon. So, at least in one sense, I might be the most famous fairy in the world. If you never read it before, you should give it a shot once you get back to Chaldea. It doesn't paint the most flattering picture of me, unfortunately, but never mind that. And just to be clear, I swear I wasn't trying to make trouble, okay? I'm just a plot device, really. Only there to get the romantic hijinks rolling.
So then, does that mean you're a fictional character, Oberon? Is it even possible for someone as vaguely defined as that to become a servant?
No, it isn't. While Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream is indeed how he is best known. Legends of Oberon, the Fairy King, have existed in Europe since ancient times. Perhaps most notably, there's a poem about him from the 15th century, well before Shakespeare's time, where he is described as a king of fairies who can use magic to make any wish come true. Really? I didn't know about that one. The point is, the character was inspired by an existing model, and that model must have become the base for my servant form. Which came first? Who knows? Just another version of the chicken and egg problem. What about Titania then? Oh, she's all Shakespeare. There's no legends in fairy history of anyone by that name. The name Titania probably came from the Titans of Greek mythology. The Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream is pretty self-centered after all. You could never find a lady who would tolerate him, so Shakespeare had to make one up. But I digress. Sorry for wasting our time. Salisbury's just up ahead. Don't worry about the guards. I'll handle them. All you three have to do is stay quiet. It's okay. My face is basically a free pass into the city. Oh, right. One more thing. Do not tell them your names. If they ask, and you can't avoid answering, make something up. We don't need anyone else finding out that you're a human. And you never know who might be listening. Hold on. Is it dangerous to lie to fairies? I have heard their eyes can see through falsehoods. If so, shouldn't we try to avoid lying whenever possible? Whoops. Oh, don't worry. The fairies here don't have powers like that. I don't know if they lost them thanks to all of this prosperity, or if they threw them away in order to be prosperous. But either way, they definitely can't tell truths from lies anymore. The only way you can tell if you're dealing with a good person or not is when everything's said and done. How else could someone as evil as Morgan have stayed at the top of this world for so long? So, this is Salisbury. Ah, how this gladdens me. The air here is very different from Cornwall. There may be fairies everywhere we turn here too, but I don't sense anything dangerous about them. They all seem happy and full of good cheer. Is there some sort of festival taking place today or something?
No, this is just life in Salisbury. It's the only free city in Alburn. There are about 200,000 people living in Salisbury. Some are wind, earth, and fang fairies. Some are fairies who emerge spontaneously from nature. And some are even independent humans.
Independent humans? Humans who have won their freedom, and now belong to no one but Britain itself. I was hoping to tell you about that aspect of life here once things had settled down, but I guess it was bound to come up sooner or later. And since the great cathedral is here, too, this seems as good a place as any to get into it. You Chaldeans may have thought there were no humans in this lost spot, but strictly speaking, that's not true. Humans do exist here, they're just not at the top of the hierarchy. Here, they're used as tools to enrich the fairy society. In proper human history terms, they're essentially slaves. Didn't you think there was something strange about this city? It's wrong, twisted, unseemly. You're right, it's more like a human city than a fairy one. Exactly. Fairies are supposed to live in harmony with nature. Even when they form communities, it's always forest children and stone children gathering under the same Great Mother. They were always just the divided spirits of the planet, who never possessed a culture of their own. But as you can see, Fairy Britain has become a place where fairies imitate human society. For about 14,000 years, fairies here have raised humans like cattle. In that time, they used humans' innate creativity as entertainment, which in turn allowed them to flourish. Fairies live long lives, and they require no sustenance whatsoever. Since there's nothing they can't do, they never change, and they never try anything new. In contrast, humans have countless weaknesses. They live short lives, their injuries don't heal, they need food to survive, and they can easily be killed by wild beasts. So naturally, humans came up with all sorts of things that would allow them to survive and flourish in spite of all those weaknesses. I'm guessing the fairies found that kind of human thinking to be absolutely fascinating. It was like finding a shiny new toy. So they began keeping humans as livestock, followed by superficially copying their culture with cities like this one. They completely ignored the substance behind human agriculture, architecture, and other various fields of study. Instead, only imitating it at the most basic, superficial level. Anything they couldn't copy manually, they fudged with magical energy. That cathedral there is the worst offender. Fairies have no gods, and no religion. There was no actual point to making the cathedral. They just thought it was fun. That's Fairy Britain's culture. And that's how they treat humans. So, basically, they ripped off human culture. Well, yes. I guess you could put it that way. Still, as a fairy myself, I can understand how things got to this point. While they definitely took it too far, it makes sense they get like this in a world where humans are endangered. Both in proper human history and in this Lost Belt, humans are fairies' favorite source of luxury and entertainment. This land came to be known as Fairy Britain when fairies began regulating humans at a societal level. It is also the key political policy of High Queen Morgan, your enemy.
Huh? You guys are going to fight Morgan?
Yep. Or at least that's the current plan. Isn't that right, Barrow Draco? I don't know about fighting yet, but we do need to meet this Lost Belt's king. But first, we need to find my other two companions. Oh, right. We do, don't we? First things first, and all that. Why don't we start with the pub? There are always people coming and going in pubs. And some of them may know something useful. Why did you stop? Is something wrong?
Bear Draco, you've helped me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it, but what should I do? If he's going to fight High Queen Morgan, it only complicates things if I stuck around. I wanted to stay with him until he found Mash, but maybe it would be better to go our separate ways here.
So that's how it is. By the way, Altria, do you know what they do to humans in a city they catch without their owners? They're captured as ranch escapees and sent to New Darlington.
New Darlington? As in Darlington, the National Slaughterhouse Theater?
Jesus. Say what?
That's horrible. But wait, isn't Salisbury supposed to be a free city? The head of the Wind Clan runs this place, right? Surely they wouldn't do anything so horrid.
Not necessarily. Not even the head of the Wind Clan can defy the High Queen. So it would definitely be to our advantage to have as many trusted collaborators with us as we can. Bear Draco still doesn't know right from left here, and on top of that, he's human. Without an owner to watch over him, it'll just be a nameless woods all over again. I do it myself, but since I'm obviously a noble, even royal, it was strange crudelty if I tried to claim a human of unknown origins as one of my attendants. But you, on the other hand, would be a perfect fit for Bear Draco. And don't worry, I'm not asking you to stay with him forever, just while we're in Salisbury. You'd prefer that over being alone too, right, Bear Draco?
I guess you're right. Being alone in Britain these days would make you more likely to attract suspicion from authorities. But what about Tristan? Couldn't he pretend to be Bear Draco's owner?
He probably could, but Tristan knows just as little about Fairy Britain as Bear Draco. It wouldn't take much questioning from one of the clan guards to expose the facade. I wouldn't go that route unless we had no other choice.
But if I have a human attendant, that would mean I'd have to be an upper-class fairy. Which would also make me Bell Draco's owner, and...
It would just be pretend. Or were you actually hoping to make him your pet?
No, I couldn't. Pretend is fine. I'm still much too young for that.
Great. Then it's settled. Bear Draco, Altria is going to be your owner for a while. It'll be the safest way to travel here. Think you can play along? Don't worry, I actually have some acting experience.
Okay. If you're sure you want me for this, then I'll do it. Besides, we've come this far together. So I certainly wouldn't mind. I certainly don't mind traveling together a little more. In fact, looking on the bright side, this is actually making one of my childhood dreams come true.
Oh? What dream would that be?
The same dream every fairy who grows up in the country has. Join the ranks of upper-class city folk.
Hey there, my good Salisburyans! How are you all this fine day? That's right, it is I, Oberon, the Fairy King of Autumn Woods, the missionary of peace, flowers, and fairy tales, here to grace you with my boisterous presence.
Hey, Oberon! Glad to see you're doing well. Nice to have you back here in Salisbury again. Just make sure you don't put anything on your tab today, you hear? Oberon! I knew coming to day drink was a good idea. Oi! What are you paying back the money I lent you?
I still have to thank you for your help the other day, Oberon. Your advice really got the trees in my backyard to settle down. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though. Lovely, Oberon. You have some time to spare, right? You simply must attend our tea party today. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though.
There's the poor little prince with 10,000 years, Tab. Don't worry, I'll cover this round. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back, though.
Will you all cut that out? Stop pointing out how popular I am. I'm here with some important friends today. Save the money talk for another time, alright? Ah ha ha ha. We know. Don't worry, we're all just joking. You've enriched our lives way more than the Queen's banknotes could ever could. We're happy to treat you. Well, is that about a 10,000 year tab?
So, you're poor, even though you call yourself a king?
Well, yes. My financials are a little lean just now. Bluntly. I'm flat broke. But what do you expect? When I was summoned to Fairy Britain, all I had on me was this cloak. I woke up in a forest piled high with dead leaves, with literally nothing to my name. Usually, in a situation like that, I'd be too bummed to do anything but wait for help from proper human history. God damn. But since I arrived first, I knew there were things I needed to take care of. Fairies thrive on what they find interesting, so I went around putting on shows in various cities here. I sang songs, riled up crowds, told fairy tales, entertained housewives, and livened up the nights. Over time, the people of Britain came to know me as the regal fairy king of a fief nobody's heard of. Well, at least in the major cities, anyway.
Oh, so I didn't know about you because I'm from the countryside.
Sorry about that. I'll try to branch out more from now on. Still, this was a hard-fought battle in its own right. Can you imagine what it was like for me to have to act like nobility without any actual capital? I can. I can recall a few dozen times I lied about my station so I could sing love songs to a beautiful woman I met at a tavern. And indeed, there's nothing quite so tense as that. As a fellow poet, Oberon, I have the greatest respect for what you've accomplished here. I don't suppose you'd be willing to give me a few in-depth lessons on how to roll fairy style, would you? If you'd really like to learn from me, I'd be glad to teach you what I know. Besides, with your musical backing, with your music backing me up, I bet I'd be able to expand my clientele even more.
Now I see. You're both scoundrels who can't be trusted around women. Anyway, where should we sit, Oberon?
My favorite table is the round one in the back, on the raised floor. It's harder for the other customers to see you there, and it gives you a full view of the whole pub. Now, how about we start with a toast of fruit water? Excuse me, cutie. Are you the new server? Let the owner know we'll be using the table in the back, okay? Oh, and we'd also like to order 4 apple waters.
You got it. I'll have them ready in just a moment.
Huh?
Huh?
Da Vinci?
Whoa, no way! Barrow Draco, it's really you!
To Salisbury. And another story node. This is gonna take forever.
Oh man, you'll never believe what happened to me. So after we got separated in the fog, I let my instincts lead me, and that brought me right back to the beach. Luckily, that beach was far enough away from the foggy woods that I was able to follow the coastline east. Eventually, I caught sight of Salisbury here, and figured I'd ought to be able to learn more in a populated city. Then, when I got here,
An angel, far too good for this world, just appeared on my pub's doorstep. She was very unsteady on her feet, but I could see the fire deep in her blue eyes when she said, "What a lovely place. Will you let me work here for the rest of my life?"
I never said that. What I said was, I'm looking for my companions, but first, could I have a glass of water? Remember?
Well, if you ever change your mind, you just let me know. You're welcome to work here forever.
Yes, I heard you the first 100 times, Mike. Now, back behind the counter. I'll teach you to make cocktails later.
Da Vinci, that perfect angel.
Anyway, that's my story. I'm glad you're okay, Barrow Draco. You too, Tristan. Although, it looks like you still haven't found Mash yet.
I see. You must be the other servant Barrow Draco told us about. It's an honor to meet a renowned genius like yourself, Leonardo da Vinci.
Who are you? I'm guessing the fact that you know my name means you're a servant from proper human history.
I'm Oberon. Oberon the Fairy King. Though I guess here is more of an aspirational title.
It's nice to meet you, Da Vinci. Da Vinci. I'm Alteria Casta. I met Barrow Draco in the Nameless Woods. To make a long story short, I'm going around with Barrow Draco pretending to be his owner. Seriously? That's hilarious! Thanks, Altria. That must be a huge weight off of Barrow Draco's shoulders. But hey, You're a British fairy too, right? You've probably got some idea of what we're doing here by now. But you're helping Baron Drago, so does that mean you're good with it? Well, more or less. Honestly, I didn't really get half of what Baron Draco and Oberon told me. But I do know that Baron Draco was telling the truth. I wouldn't feel right about abandoning someone in trouble when they're within my ability to help them. And honestly, it kind of seemed like fun. Gotcha! Then it should be okay to speak frankly here. So, how did you end up here, Baron Draco? Wow! Sounds like you guys had a hell of a time in that forest. I'm glad you made it out of there okay. Thanks for keeping him safe, Tristan. You too, Oberon? Altria? So we still don't know much about Bryn. We have no idea where Mash is either.
Oh.
But we do know that she's still alive. And Oberon is flat broke. Okay, now that we're all on the same page, we can figure out what to do next. You made the right call, Oberon. We shouldn't be wandering aimlessly around Britain right now. What we need to do is set up a base of operations here in Salisbury, where we can gather information and tackle our problems one at a time. Our top priority right now is finding Mash, so we'll need to look for info on a girl wearing iron armor. While we do that, we should also learn more about Britain and the lives of the fairies who live in it.
What did you have? What did you have in mind for the base? Do you have a place of your own here?
I sure do. This pub doubles as the inn. Well, technically, they just copied the man-made inn without knowing what it was for. So I taught Mike about inns and how to put all the extra rooms he's got to use here. And as a little reward for my services, I got to take 3 of the second floor rooms for myself. I knew we'd eventually find each other, and that we'd need a Caldia frontline base when we did. So that's why I went ahead and made one.
Wow, I'm impressed, Da Vinci. And I know Lancelot would be especially blown away by what you have done here.
Huh? Is this Lancelot person also a young girl?
This is great. I can already tell this Da Vinci friend of yours will be a huge help. Alright, since it seems you guys have things well in hand now, I think I'll take my leave. I've actually got a lot of other things I still have to do. You're going off on your own, Oberon? Yep. I'm going to see what I can find out about this Smash girl. Not to mention, we also need more information about Bryn as a whole. Now that you Chaldeans have come here, things are definitely going to change. And since we still don't have many allies on our side yet, I want to make sure we know where things stand in every region. But we'll see you again soon, right? Of course, especially now that I know where I can find you all. Don't worry, the next time you see me, I'll have good news. In the meantime, I suggest you all get acclimated, that's it, acclimated, to Britain sooner than later.
Well, damn, he sure didn't waste any time. I'm glad he's on our side, but he definitely dances to the beat of his own drum, doesn't he?
Indeed, and that call for alpha of his speaks to me. It tells me he is, without a doubt, the same kind of poet as me. Ah, how this gladdens me.
So, what should we do now? I could show you around Salisbury if you like. Thanks, but I think we should take the rest of the day off. You all walked a long way to get here, after all. Please, go ahead and make yourselves comfy in the rooms I mentioned. Bear Draco, you take the room for yourself. Tristan and I will share another. And Altria, you can use the other room I set aside for Mash. Hehe, I knew it was right not stealing for 2 rooms. Oh, I also put up some Magecraft barriers in the rooms, so we won't have to worry about being overheard.
I recognize that Da Vinci wink. I know what's going on.
Really? I can have a whole room all to myself? For free? Hooray! I've always wanted my own room. I can't wait to get all comfy. Thank you, Da Vinci. Gosh, you, proper human history fairies are all so generous. This is great. And now she's gone too. I know I didn't touch on this before, but she's pretty different from the Altria we know, isn't she?
Yes, she is. From what I've seen so far, we should consider her an entirely separate person from King Arthur. Altria Pendragon, the King of Britain in proper human history.
Yep. Which is one more thing I'd like to discuss up in our room. If you two don't mind taking this there. It's better if we discuss proper human history stuff just among ourselves. You really can't be too careful here. Alright, let's begin by sharing what we've learned, starting with this version of Britain. You probably got a sense of this yourselves on your way here. On your way to Salisbury. Wow. Keep adding words. But this Lost Belt is very different from all the others we've seen so far. It doesn't look at all like an alternate path human history could have taken, especially since humans aren't the dominant species here. So far as I can tell, this world consists almost entirely of fairies. In Russia, a huge cold snap made it impossible for human species to survive as they were, so they were forced to adapt and evolve. In Scandinavia, the Twilight of the Gods, aka Ragnarok, happened during the Age of the Gods, and both gods and people alike were in sharp decline afterwards. China was ruled by a single Zenren, or true human, and became the sole nation-state of in the entire world. India was converging in on itself through endless cycles of reincarnation, only for the whole world instead of individual people. And in Greece, humankind was completely dominated by gods who never died out. While all of them were dead ends, they were still all human worlds. No matter how different they may have been from our timeline, they still all had human societies that suited their environments in the year 2019. But that's not the case here. This is this is very much not a human world. For one thing, there is no world outside of Britain. It's not like the other Lost Belts where we just couldn't see the outside world thanks to the storm walls. There's just nothing in this world at all besides Britain. No other country, no other continents, and definitely no other nations. So as long as we're here, the whole planet consists of nothing but the Isle of Britain and sea. And that means it's basically another world with no relation to human history? Yep, given what we know now, that's the only way to describe it. Over the last few days, I've been asking various fairies about what things are like between Britain and other countries, but the very idea of other countries was alien to them. So that tells me there must be some strange circumstances that caused this place to become Fairy Britain. Figuring out what that is will be the key to unraveling this Lost Belt.
Hold on. If there aren't any other European countries here, does that mean every fairy in this land comes solely from the Isle of Britain?
That's a great question, Tristan. If there are no other lands in this world, it follows that no fairy legends from those places would be imported here. But luckily, there's still a little thing called human history convergence. What that means is, as long as the fairy once existed on Earth, their existence will remain even if their form and history are different. So even in this fairy Britain, we have fairies from various European legends showing up in different forms. Basically, the ecosystems are similar, even if the environments aren't. Since this is still the same planet Earth, there are inevitably going to be similar life forms, civilizations, and large-scale events.
Similar life forms, huh?
Yep, Fairy Britain may be nothing like the Britain we know. But despite that, the two Britons have a surprising number of things in common. Things like city names, fairy names, even the name of this world's queen. Remember that huge castle to the north you saw on the way here? It belongs to High Queen Morgan, ruler of Fairy Britain. And it probably won't surprise you to learn that its name is Camelot. That's right, here the same castle that symbolized British peace and proper human history, that was home to King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, belongs to Morgan. The strongest, most despised witch in British history, and the one indirectly responsible for King Arthur's death and Britain's downfall.
Morgan the Witch, huh?
Yep, as far as I've been able to find out, Morgan's ruled Fairy Britain for almost 2,000 years. There are 6 different fairy clans here: Wind, Earth, Fang, Mirror, Wing, and one other. They waged war with each other constantly for thousands of years, until Morgan used evil magecraft to defeat them, subjugated half the clans through force, and united all of Britain. Afterwards, she gave the humans of this world a limited degree of freedom, made them build a foundation for civilization, and developed this imitation society over the course of the last 2,000 years.
Morgan. So even in this Lost Belt, she's still trying to. But no, I suppose I shouldn't say that. I'm sure this Morgan is a different person from the one we know. So what exactly is her reign like? Since she calls her castle Camelot, does that mean it's fair and just, in a way King Arthur would be proud of?
No, it's pretty horrible. She has strict limits on the number of humans that can be born each year, and she rules the fairies with an iron fist. Every fairy that lives in the urban area is inscribed with Morgan's curse, command spells, as part of their civic duty. And every year, fairies inscribed with these command spells are forced to donate some of their vitality, magical energy, essentially. They call it the existence tax. And any fairies who can't pay it, essentially who can't provide enough magical energy to satisfy Morgan, are killed right then and there. Apparently, when she first took the throne, Morgan told the fairies, excuse me, I offer neither absolution nor salvation. I demand only that you obey without question or hesitation. Show me your fealty in word, and action, and I shall keep Britain safe. Any fairies who can't handle this state of affairs and become unable to work are either... Oh, wait, they've been talking. Wow. Are either taken to Camelot and dealt with there, or they escape to cities and run away to lands no one else knows about.
So that's why those fairies were there. Such an oppressive regime is bound to spark opposition. But even so, Morgan has maintained her iron grip on Britain for 2,000 years.
Yep, which just goes to show how powerful she must be. She takes half the souls of every fairy in Britain each year, and there's still no fairies able to or willing to stand up to her. That said, there are some positive sides to Morgan's reign. Remember those black things we fought near the shore? The fairies call them Moors, and they're one of the calamities that have been plaguing Fairy Britain since its inception. Occasionally, fairies that lose their purpose, or their spark, end up turning into these Moors creatures. Moors are essentially the fairy's natural predators. Just touching one is enough to infect the fairy, ultimately transforming them into a Moors too. It's kind of like a disease that only affects fairies. And the Moors aren't the only calamity Britain has to regularly contend with. There are lots of others that pop up on a regular basis. And the High Queen's army is constantly fighting them off. Morgan may be a cold and ruthless ruler, but she's also the sword that keeps Britain safe. The fairies may fear and hate her, but they also depend on her. And that's the current state of Fairy Britain.
Sounds like Morgan's definitely this Lost Spells king then.
Yep, that seems like a very safe assumption, which means she'd also have to be the one who used
oh god, I forgot to listen to the name. Rongominad.
That spell is so powerful, it reached Olympus from here. No one else could have cast it. So, of course, that unfortunately also means Barrel Gut is involved with Morgan somehow. So I say that makes our chance of a peaceful negotiation with her basically nil.
I see. Then we have our own reasons for defeating her.
Yep. Though we might have a hard time getting to Camelot, since apparently no one can enter it without her permission. That said, even Morgan's reign isn't perfect. In fact, there's a new hope going around Britain right now. As luck will have it, we showed up here at the exact right time. Just as things are about to change.
So, what's this new hope?
The Child of Prophecy. Specifically, a child whose existence was prophesied by the head of the now extinct Mirror Clan, right before they disappeared. From what I heard, it went something like this. 16 years from now, a savior shall appear, guided by the staff of selection. The true king will take the throne. When the 6 bells ring out, the false queen will fall. Alongside Fae and humans, the savior will bring an end to this false history. So, what do you think? Sounds vaguely familiar, right? It's got credibility out the wazoo, too, since the Mirror Clan's prophecies have never once been wrong. The High Queen's been trying to prevent the inevitable by rounding up every fairy who turns 16 this year. But the fact that this Child of Prophecy hunt is still going on proves that she still hasn't caught them. Suffice to say, between the Moors and the Child of Prophecy alone, the cracks are showing in the High Queen's reign. So if we play our cards right, we might be able to negotiate with Morgan after all. That said, fighting Mash definitely comes first. For the time being, you should rest up and recover your strength. Then tomorrow, we can start gathering information. Quietly and casually, of course, so as not to arouse suspicion.
Oh man, feels like forever since I last laid down on a soft bed. The British Lost Belt. High Queen Morgan. Altria, Oberon. Mash, wherever you are, please be safe.
Okay, I think we could use some rest too. Service might not need to sleep, but it's still tiring to be constantly watching out for threats, right? I mean, you never took your fingers off your bowstrings even once the entire time. Guess that's why you were a knight of a round table, right? Huh?
Just you're noticing that suggests I must need rest as well. But not just yet. But please, don't refrain from resting on my account, Da Vinci. You may be a servant too, but you're also a being living in the here and now, just like Baron Draco. So go on, get some sleep. Don't worry, it's my duty to protect you as well as him.
Gotcha. I guess I should have expected that kind of consideration from Tristan, the Child of Sadness, and the most handsome knight of the Round Table. Okay then, I think I'll take you up on that. Honestly, I was pretty beat.
By all means, but first, I have just one request for you. I don't want to take too much of your time, but before you fall asleep, I was hoping you could tell me about the sixth singularity. Specifically, I would like to hear about the version of me who was summoned there, and what I was doing in the holy city of Camelot. Ooh. Fight with Saber. Boss fight. Chapter 3. Aurora.
Good morning, everyone. My gosh, that bed was just so comfortable. Glad to hear it. That makes all the trouble I went through to get the mattress just right worth it. Fairy beds are just imitations of real beds, so the mattresses might as well have been bulgers before I adjusted them.
I'm here as well. If you'd like, I'd be happy to play a song to help you all wake up. Morning, everyone.
You're going out, Da Vinci? So you're not going to wait tables with your beautiful roller skating today?
Sorry, I'm off to do some sightseeing. But don't worry, I'll help out in the afternoon.
Oh, right. That was our deal, wasn't it?
Hey, you there! I don't know which clan you're from, but you better not tire Da Vinci, okay? You hear? Huh? What's up, Bear Draco? Something on your mind?
I was just thinking the sky looks awfully similar to how it did yesterday.
Oh, that? Yeah, I was surprised by that at first, too. The weather here never changes. It's got one sky pattern for day and another for night, and that's it. It does supposedly rain here sometimes, but apparently it's just always cloudy here. No blue skies. Huh? Blue skies? Your British skies turn blue sometimes?
Oh yes. When there are no clouds in the sky, it becomes a beautiful shade of blue as far as the eye can see. Though it's not to say these skies aren't beautiful in their own right.
So, the same color as bluebells then? That's what your skies look like? Wow. Then your world must be very bright and beautiful. The kind of place where everyone always smiles and helps one another, no matter how hard life gets. Anyway, shall we start gathering information then? Oh, and I need to pretend to be Bail Draco's owner, right? Oh, then maybe I'll try acting like a big shot and going to one of those restaurants I've heard so much about. Did you know they won't even let you into a Woodrose without an attendant? Hey, as long as there are a lot of fairies there, I'm good with whatever. Okay, so let's scope the place out while we pretend to just be taking a walk. We'll also want to keep our excuse me ears peeled for any juicy rumors and talk to people ourselves at times.
Have I heard anything about fairy and iron armor? What? You guys interested in joining the High Queen's army? Don't bother. Nothing good will come for joining them now. This is the year Ansel's prophesied about, remember? The Child of Prophecy will appear this year and bring salvation to all. Who knows? Maybe the High Queen will finally cut us a break on our taxes if he actually takes a few licks for once. Huh? You're not looking to join? You're looking for a lost companion? Afraid I can't help you there then. Iron armor? You won't find anything like that here. You have to go to Norwich for iron. They ought to still be making those silly weapons up there. At least if Spriggan hasn't shut down the mine. What kind of weapons you say? What else? Swords, spears, bows, axes. You know, the usual. I swear, I never thought I'd see the day fairies would use iron weapons of all things. What could the High Queen be thinking? Still, at least the Child of Prophecy should do something about all that. We just gotta be patient a little longer.
Hey, have you guys heard the latest about the Calamity Pool in Norwich? They say Norwich's sky is pitch black, even during the daytime. There's no way they're going to last much longer there. Not with such calamity present. I mean, between all the iron, soot, noise, and humans there, they have no one to blame but themselves. But even so, I just can't help but worry. I mean, what are we going to do if Norwich refugees decide to come here to Salisbury? We have so much history here, and we've got too many EarthClan fairies as it is. But Lady Aura is so kind. I can't imagine her turning them away.
You're looking for something? Are you searching for Salisbury or Albrin? Oh, Justin Salisbury or Albrin? Aha! If it's Albrin, these fairies here aren't gonna be much help. It's so nice here in Salisbury that nobody ever wants to leave. If you want to know what's going on in other cities, you just have to visit them yourselves. Oh, but if you don't have wings, do you? Well, that rules out then. That rules that out then. If the Moors got you, it's all over. Anyway, I wonder what tonight's festival is going to be about. I hope it's another play about the Child of Prophecy and the Evil Witch. I love the part where the High Queen and her dog knight finally gets what's coming to them.
Yeah, worn out. You and me both. I slept for 3 hours last night. I'm working on fumes right now. Also, that voice was a mistake. I just destroyed my throat. Fed up. Dejected. Well, that was disappointing.
I mean, I wasn't really expecting to find a solid lead in just one day. But all anyone wanted to talk about was the child of prophecy. They barely even listened to what we had to say.
Indeed. That last fairy even tried to get us to buy some questionable child of prophecy merchandise. I haven't seen a whole city so fiercely excited about something other than Christmas. A child of prophecy craze. Sounds like there's a lot of money to be made there. I guess it just goes to show how much people are counting on them.
Yeah. The only other things these fairies wanted to talk about besides the child of prophecy were the rumors going around about Norwich, the eastern port town. I gotta say, it's made me really curious about this child of prophecy too. I wonder what kind of fairy they are. If they really are planning to fight Morgan like the prophecy says, maybe we could even convince them to help us. What do you think? Should we try looking for this child of prophecy as well as Mash? Any fairy who can get the other fairies so excited must be incredibly strong and brave.
Good day, everyone! I'm back once again. Oh, no main customers today, I see. It's Oberon! Hey there. Having a little lunch after your morning walk around the city, huh? Anyway, it looks like you're all having fun. Hope you don't mind if I join you. I'm a passable fighter at best, but I'm a master of killing with compliments. Much more peaceful that way. Here, I'll show you. Before long, I'll be heaping so much praise on Altria, she'll be begging me for mercy. Altria? Why? Huh? You mean you haven't told them yet, Altria? The child of prophecy everyone's on about? That's her. I just assumed you knew, since she's got King Arthur's name and all. Yeah, that scans.
I mean, yeah, the thought did cross my mind once I heard you were named Altria. But still, you? Altria? Really? I mean, let's be real. You have less magical energy than most fairies, right? You might have better magical circuits than a human. Well, since you're a fairy, I guess they'd be the age of godparents? Anyway, they're still below average for a fairy. Hell, even Mike there... must be stronger than you. So how can you be the child of prophecy meant to defeat the High Queen?
I had no... Mood. Just mood.
I know, you're right. It doesn't make sense, does it? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know it's not right that someone like me is carrying around the staff of selection. Still, it's not like we know for certain that I'm the child of prophecy. There's a chance I might not be. Besides, I don't really have the guts to fight the High Queen, or the drive, or the determination. I don't belong to any of the clans either, and I have so little magical energy that I have to fudge it with magecraft. I can't even get close to the bells I'm supposed to ring. I mean, I do plan to do the best I can in spite of all that. But let's just say it's a very uphill battle. Ahaha. Honestly, I still don't know why I was chosen.
You don't think you can do this, Altria?
I don't know. All I can say is that if I really am the child of prophecy, then there must be some way for me to fight. That's why I was born, and how I was raised. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm completely hopeless. The last time I came to Salisbury was to meet with the head of the Wind Clan. But I ended up deciding to try Manchester next because nobody here would even give me the time of day. I see. So that's why you didn't say anything sooner. Fairies can sense how much magical energy you've got at a glance. So I'm sure they only laughed when you told them you were the child of prophecy.
They probably scolded you something fierce.
They did. So I thought I'd start by convincing the head of the clan who I was. But they just turned me away at the gates.
The head of the Wind Clan, huh? That'd be Aura. Personally, I think you're pretty great as you are now. But I can see why you'd feel a need to boost your prestige. Well, if that's the only problem, I can take care of it right now. What do you mean by that, Oberon? I mean, I can get you a meeting with Aura, if you want. There! See how easily we got in? Take a look. This is the heart of Salisbury, the home of its great bell. A Set's Cathedral, the oldest and largest building in all of Faerun. Now then, Aurora's room is on the top floor, so what say we start heading up? I've already sent word of our arrival, so we shouldn't have any trouble with the Whoop, hang on.
Good day, King of the Autumn Woods. Your visit is sudden and unexpected, but we welcome you here all the same. However, it seems I must remind you that this cathedral is the holy ground where kings and queens are made. The esteemed site of High Queen Morgan's coronation 2,000 years ago. As such, regardless of how much affection Lady Aurora may have for you, I cannot allow such lowly creatures as humans to enter, attendants or not. Guards, to me, captures these unidentified fairies and the disgusting human. If the human submits, very well. However, should he attempt to resist or flee, dispose of him.
Yeah, like,
that goes for Oberon too, of course. You needn't show him any leniency. We've received complaints about him from pubs across the city demanding that he pay his tabs.
My. This isn't how I expected things to go. Oberon! If those are your orders, Lady Coral, then we'll gladly comply. But are you sure about this? Lady Aurora told us to let him through right away. She seemed thrilled about his visit.
Don't talk back to me. You may have been chosen to be guards, but you're still mere humans. Know your place. Unless, of course, you'd rather I turn you into rabbits, so you don't have to be human anymore.
No, my lady. I'm very sorry about this, Lord Oberon. It really is nothing personal. We're just doing our jobs. It seems we have no choice but to do battle, even though their hearts clearly aren't in it. Come, Baron Draco. Let's show them how strong we truly are. Oh. No Artoria. You'd think Altria would be a support servant. Oh, they are bulky. Why are they so bulky? It doesn't take a long well. We have increased damage against Saber, but it's grayed out. I'm not really sure what's going on here. That was not a lot. I could change Archer Toria. I mean, I'll probably do more damage, so.
遠慮はしません。ロックを楽しみです。フリーズ。X。
Sure, it's a good thing that Artoria has a Archer variant.
突撃。
That wouldn't be smart.
遠慮はします。楽しみです。はっ。フリーズ。
God damn. I can probably kill one, or I can NP next turn. Which isn't really helpful because the modifier.
楽しみ。遠慮はし。ロックオン。狙い撃ちです。
God damn it. I needed them to hit me. Okay, next turn we can MP.
いいですね。強気ですね。遠慮はしませんとも。やったフリー。
Yeah, I expected that. Ours down. Seriously? The one down I didn't want to happen?
正面受けて立つ。前例を見せる。無駄打ちはしません。
Ooh,
トナカイに乗る。
Artoria chain.
この道に勝利を。
I think Saber should be able to, like, just finish it off.
これは人類を守お任せよ。はい。
This should have enough damage.
この赤の星の規模。死を照らす命の証。決着をつけるぞ。
Nice.
たまにはこういう催しも。
That just did, like, a lot of damage. For, like, only 2 attack ups. You see that, Coral? You see what Bill Draco and I are capable of? This is what happens when you look down on people for being human or having no money.
Probably not a good time to point out that Oberon was just standing behind them, Kieran. Very well. It would seem that human is indeed not your typical expendable worker. And Lady Aurora does love rare and unusual things. It's part of what makes her so strong. Alright, just this once, I'll grant you an audience with her, but don't let this go to your head. Rare and unusual things are only interesting the first time you see them. Once the novelty wears off, they become worthless. If I were you, I would try to make the most of this good fortune, as you won't have many other such chances in the future.
I want to kill her for some reason.
Hello, Oberon. What delightful story do you have for me today? You know so very many things, so I'm sure it must be something special. Whatever it is, I can't wait to hear it. I could use some cheer after all the unfortunate news recently.
I didn't think it was possible to go blind from sheer splendor until today. Why, yes. I have two things for you today. One is something you absolutely must know. The other is a request for a small favor. But don't worry, I won't take up much of your time at all. That said, can I first make a somewhat selfish request? You see, I'd like to keep what I'm about to tell you just between us. You don't mind keeping secrets, right?
Oh my, you are a naughty one, aren't you? I don't usually care for scary stories. But tee, a little thrill does sound like fun. Would you give us some privacy, Coral? Lady Aurora. It's alright, I know we can trust them. So it's only right I answer in kind. As you wish, but please don't hesitate to call me if you should change your mind. You'll have to forgive Coral. She's a very proud girl, and she can be quite inflexible. She probably gave you a very harsh welcome again, didn't she? I'm just glad to see you're not hurt. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, friends of Oberon. I am Aurora, head of the Wind Clan, and Lord of Salisbury. Now, what did you come to tell me today? Well, I guess it's no surprise that the whole mood just changed here. Figures she didn't become the head of the clan through her beauty alone.
So the thing is, we're having trouble finding a companion of ours.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. How many years has it been since a human spoke so frankly to me? Oh, how delightfully different. Tell me, what's your name? Are you a free citizen? What kind of pedigree do you... I'm so sorry. You already serve this fine young fairy, don't you? Oh goodness, how rude of me.
Really, Aurora, you must do something about your tendency to take in every stray human you find. Otherwise, you'll eventually have every human in Britain living in Salisbury. And I'm sure you don't need any more resistance from your fellow clan members, seeing how you are the only one who favors coexistence.
Yes, I know. You're right, of course. But when I saw those big puppy eyes of his begging me for help, well, I just couldn't resist.
Good grief. Well, this is exactly why I brought him to see you to begin with. Remember what I told you before about Chaldea and the other world called proper human history? Well, this boy here is the master of Chaldea, and the two people behind him are servants, not fairies.
Oberon?
Don't worry, it's okay. Aura here may be from Fairy Britain, but she thinks a lot like the fairies of proper human history. And while she's never come out and say it, she's not happy with the state of things in Britain either, right? It's been 2,000 years now since Britain fell into Morgan's hands. And you've been here, watching it unfold every step of the way. You think it's time for Morgan's reign to end, regardless of what form that end takes. I remember how your eyes sparkled with hope when I told you about the outside world. Baron Draco here has come to Britain solely to defeat Morgan. He's not even thinking about what happens afterwards. Suffice to say, he has no intention of ruling in Morgan's place once she's gone. Once the Chaldeans leave, whether Britain lives or dies will be for you to decide. For you and your fellow fairies to decide. Chaldea's definitely not going to care if you try to save what's left of it. They'll gladly stay out of your way. Morgan is their only concern. Nothing more.
So it would seem. Well, that girl in the back doesn't seem very happy that you're telling me this. This boy here isn't denying anything you say. So, you're travelers from another world, a burden that went down the right path. It's still hard to believe, but maybe this, too, is Ansel's guidance at work. Either way, one thing is clear. Since we both have our own troubles, it's only right we help one another. Bear Draco, was it? You have my permission to act in Salisbury however you see fit, even if your actions should be in opposition to the land of the Fae. If you're looking for a lost companion, then I'll lend you the eyes of my fellow wind fairies in the other cities. I can't contact my compatriots in Norwich at the moment, but I will have my wind fairies in Oxford, Gloucester, New Darlington, and Camelot help you in your search. You need only tell Coral what your companion looks like. I just hope my clan can be of assistance.
That's great, but are you sure it's okay?
You mean for me to help Chaldea? Teehee, I see you're both a kind and honest boy, Bear Draco. True, as a citizen of Fairy Britain, perhaps it is wrong of me to help you. But I'm more concerned with us fairy folks' way of life than I am with retaining this land itself. The High Queen is a great woman, certainly. But the path we are on now will not lead us anywhere good.
All that said, I still like to keep this relationship of ours on the down low for the time being. After all, you are the head of a clan. If Morgan finds out you've sided with Chaldea and proper human history, she may have all the Wind Clan fairies killed. So this collaboration should be kept quiet, so we can deny knowing anything about each other in case things come to that.
All of the Wind Clan fairies dead. So not even you could defeat High Queen Morgan if you faced her directly? No, I couldn't. She could wipe us all out with one flick of her finger. I see. Gosh, she's really something, isn't she? Oh yes, she's a very special fairy. The only one who could hope to defeat her is the Child of Prophecy from Ansel's last prediction. Too bad this child has yet to reveal themselves. I can only hope they come save us as soon as possible.
Devious smile. He's gonna do it. He's really gonna do it. How right you are, Aurora. I may very well be about to make your day. There's someone I'd like you to meet.
Huh? What are you doing, Oberon? Please, stop.
That's right. Altria here is none other than the Star of Hope, who hails from Tintalgo. Born alongside the Staff of Selection that will bring Morgan to justice. She's the one, the only, Child of Prophecy. Go on now, don't be shy.
Oberon!
Oh, delightful.
You do have some delightful friends, Oberon. I'd love to be tackled to the ground like that myself sometime.
Why, thank you. I guess I expected such a direct method of silencing me either. Still, Altria would never say anything if I hadn't put her on the spot like that. She's kind of a late bloomer, you see. She's still not confident about being the Child of Prophecy. So we're hoping you might be able to offer her your seal of approval. Say, for example, Maybe she could ring one of the bells mentioned in prophecy? Wow. Even I wouldn't have come up with that. Impressive.
No, that I'm afraid I can't allow. Well, there is indeed a bell said to be the voice of the Wind Clan right above this room. I can only let her ring it once she has proven herself to me. Words alone will not suffice. She will need to demonstrate her abilities so there can be no question. You said your name was Altria, yes? And it seems you do indeed have the Staff of Selection. Still, I don't understand what the Staff of Selection truly signifies. The only one who does is Anseal, the head of the Mirror Clan, and no one has seen any member of the Mirror Clan for years. All I can do is see for myself whether you have the makings of a king.
And how exactly do you propose to do that?
Oh my, what a lovely voice. And here I thought you may be mute. Very well then, out of respect for those dulcet tones, I'll tell you my conditions. Altria, Bear Draco, I'd like you two to show me that there is still hope for our world. So here is my test to see if Britain can still be changed. As you know, we fairies are plagued by a dark fate. Every 100 years, a calamity befalls us, a curse that not even Morgan herself has been able to dispel. For the last few months, there has been a powerful Moors current winding its way through Norwich, a calamity pool. If you two can rid Norwich of this calamity, then I will gladly give you access to Salisbury's Bell.
Alright. So I am going to call that day there. And we'll continue this on maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Yeah. Maybe even next week. But until then, oh god, no story node. Man, Tekken 3 has a lot of nodes. Oh, this can take forever. Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!